Hi friends, welcome back to my kitchen. I've had a request for cottage cheese ice cream, and I do happen to know how to make one, believe it or not. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you what I'm going to use. Now, y'all, you know, whenever you make these ingredients, if you guys are not sugar-free, y'all feel free to go ahead and use regular sugar in yours. I happen to be diabetic and I have to watch my sugar intake, so that's why I make sugar-free stuff. So what you're going to need is you're going to need some cottage cheese. I'm not going to use this whole container. I'm only going to use about 16 ounces because I'm just going to make a smaller amount. I'm the only one that eats this. My husband, he doesn't much care for stuff like this, so I'm going to go ahead and use about 16 ounces of cottage cheese. You can either use low fat or you can use full fat, whichever one you like. I'm going to use some whole strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, any kind of fruit you want to use, you can use. I like the lower sugar one, so that's why I use that. I'm going to use a little sugar-free instant Jello cheesecake flavor. Now you can use whatever flavor you like. This makes a strawberry cheesecake flavor. It's really, really good. And you're gonna need some sweetener. I've got some no-calorie stevia that I'm gonna use, and I'm going to use French vanilla. Now, another thing that you could also add is protein powder if you want to up the protein content even more, and I may add that at the end. We're going to see. The other thing you're going to need maybe is some skinny syrup, some flavoring. There's all different flavors. This happens to be a cupcake flavor. Vanilla's good in this. Anything that you think would taste good along with strawberries and cheesecake. That's all you need. So you're going to need a blender of some sort. I'm going to go ahead and use this one. And we're going to go ahead and get started. So like I said, I don't need this whole container. I'm only going to use about 16 ounces of it. We're going to put it in there. And you want to process this up to where it's really, really smooth. Now here's one thing you have to remember with cottage cheese. There is going to be some saltiness to this. So, just keep that in mind when you're making it. Go ahead and try to make just a small amount to get started. If you haven't ever tried anything like this, just a small amount, okay? Because what if you don't like it? You don't want to waste your ingredients, right? So think small. You could even buy individual little containers of cottage cheese that only have about 5 ounces. You could try it with that, okay? So we're going to go ahead and add a good amount of strawberries to this. I'm probably going to add about at least a cup to this. Strawberries are pretty low carb, guys, so you know, it's okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and measure me out some cheesecake pudding mix in here, a little bit of it. We're just using the dry pudding mix. Once again, we are not going to worry about making up the cheesecake the pudding mix. We're just using the dry, okay? So let's go ahead and add, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons. I think that ought to be good. I'm just going to sprinkle it around just like that. That's all you got to do. And sweetener is very subjective. If you're going to freeze this, then you always want it sweeter than what you think you need it, because once you freeze something, your taste buds, because it's so cold, they can't taste the sweetener as much. I used to be amazed whenever I would drink the shake mix when I worked at Whataburger, because that stuff is so sweet. But then when it came out as a shake, it didn't taste that terribly sweet. And that's why, is because your taste buds are somewhat fooled. And I'm just going to go ahead and add 4 pumps of that. Okay, so we're going to put the lid on this and we're going to blend this up and see what kind of consistency we get, okay? Through the magic of Facebook, we've got it all blended up. Here we go, guys. Now, remember, you may have to scrape down the sides while you're doing this so that you get every little bit of it down in there. I'm going to go ahead and just scrape it down because it kind of spun some up around the sides. So let's give her a taste and see how she tastes. How about that? Now I want to show you the consistency. It's pretty thick. Oh my goodness. Oh yes. Now I'm going to eat this just as is. Okay. I'm not going to go ahead and go through the trouble of freezing it, because once you freeze it, then you do have to thaw it a little bit, you know, and the texture, the consistency. If you have a Ninja Creamy, I think this would be really good in there. Okay. One of these days, I might just get one. Maybe my next birthday. We'll see. But anyway, try it out, you guys. Make the flavor combinations you think would be good. Chocolate fudge. They have a chocolate fudge, sugar-free pudding mix. I think that would be delicious. I would add extra cocoa powder, maybe some sugar-free chocolate syrup in there. Yeah. And another little tip, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. This is Better Stevia. This is something that I've gotten off of Amazon. It's very concentrated sweetener. It doesn't have an aftertaste like a lot of them does. This is one of my go-to sweeteners. And I'm telling you, try the chocolate and put a little of this in there. It heightens the chocolate, the vanilla does. Anyway, guys, strawberry cheesecake, cottage cheese ice cream. Who knew? It's delicious. You got to try it. Make that. Thanks. Bye-bye.